Hi everybody and welcome to my EFT video. This one is number 16 in my EFT series, and as you might have guessed from what I've got here, this one is to help you with healthy lifestyle and to lose weight as well. So I've noticed over the years that a lot of people are trying to lose weight and they involve themselves in many diets, and these diets just don't work. People lose weight for a while and then the weight comes back on, and not just that, the kind of thing is when you put on weight and then you lose weight, especially for women who are very aware about their wrinkles, that doesn't help the skin. So the likelihood is that you will start, your wrinkles will start to come up earlier if you are going through the process of putting on weight, losing weight. But there's a reason why a lot of these diets don't work, and the reason is that a lot of these diets or a lot of these weight loss programs like Weight Watchers, they just focus on the physical bits of you losing the weight. They are not actually addressing the emotional issues, and that is why doing it with EFT has got a much better chance of success, because with EFT you will be addressing the root causes of the issues you have which are sabotaging your progress about whatever you want to attract more into your life, being it losing your weight or having a healthier lifestyle. So going back to, I put up all these things which are, sort of healthy diet. It's not just about having loads of fresh fruits and vegetables, and that's absolutely fine, because especially like apples are very good for people who've got diabetes. As long as we have everything in balance, we are doing the right thing. And that's why I even put some chocolate cake, because even a little treat is good for us. Because what we do is, when we do all these diets, we put ourselves onto this strict regime, and we are not allowed to have this, that and the other. And then the complete opposite happens, because the more you think, oh, I mustn't have that, the more actually it's going to happen. And then we do break these programs, and then we feel bad about ourselves. I can't even put up with this diet. But a lot of these diets also are not very healthy, because some of them will concentrate of just one particular group, like either protein or fats or whatever. And as long as you start denying yourself these vital nutrients, your health will suffer. So that's I always thought, how do all these women manage to put up with all that? How? Because when I was younger, I was a teenager, and because I'm quite well built, so I was always very aware that I'm quite fat. And especially I do remember I used to walk past some types of cars, and these cars were making, the mirror, the window in the car was making me look larger. Some of the cars were okay and I was still looking the same, and some of the windows in the cars were kind of distorting the reality. And this is often what we do. We distort the reality of what we look like, and especially with social media and everything else, there is this kind of desire of all of us to look great. There are so many apps which will make us look slimmer and adapt us, and then we all want to follow this up in real life. And when you look up at all the models and all the actresses and everyone else, they're all very slim, and the kind of comparison culture, everything else, that's actually not serving us quite well. And so I have, as I said, so a lot of us will strive to be on these diets, and a lot of us will be upset because these diets just don't work. So I've prepared a little tapping for us to help us to be a bit kinder to ourselves and to accept ourselves the way we are, because the first part of our success in our journey of making changes and making our lives happier, making improvements to our lives, is that actually we accept ourselves the way we are. And so we start stepping on the karate chop. So even though I never have success with any diets, I always I try my best with all these diets, but they never seem to work. I put the weight back on anyway. I love and accept myself the way I am. Even though I do not like some parts of me, I don't like the fat tummy, whatever it is, whichever part of your body you don't like, just mention it in the tapping, because it's all about acceptance. And as I said, once you accept yourself the way you are, then you won't even know. Suddenly everything will come, the weight loss will just come as it is. So even though I don't love, and then add whichever parts of your body it is you're not happy with, I will try and accept myself anyway. So as a reminder phrase, we can just say now, all these diets that never work, I can't keep up with them. They don't work. And then watch about the messages you are saying to yourself. Like messages, I'm not good enough, I can't keep up, oh, I will never achieve this weight loss, I'm just not good enough. No diet will ever work. I just can't lose weight. No diet will ever work. I'm just not good enough. No diet ever works. All these diets. Okay, take a deep breath in now and just feel. How do you feel now? What happened after that tapping? Often I say, just feel it wherever you feel it in your body. Express how you feel it, describe it, what is the color, and then continue tapping. But I'll, on the feelings, but I'll go back to myself, and I've never actually done a diet because I never felt that I can keep up with it, or I felt, oh, I'll never achieve any of these kind of diets, because I saw people who were thin, and I kept saying to myself, oh, how can they be so good? They manage to keep thin, but actually I can't manage to keep up thin. And you see all this judging, but then kind of later I started to realize that actually the way my body is being built and shaped, I'm actually much larger than the majority of women. And even if I was like a skeleton, even if I took all my fat off and everything else, I would still be bigger than they are now. So I started to learn to be kinder to myself. I started to appreciate that, this is the way I've been built. I did have a lot of fear on putting on weight as time goes on, because I was saying to myself, well, even if I am this fat as a teenager, then goodness me, how fat I'll be when I come to middle age. And yes, I have put on some weight since I've been a teenager. And this is, another part of us, the acceptance that actually, as we do go into middle and older age, we can't actually be as thin as we used to be when we were younger. And also, you know, our metabolism will start slowing down, and that is actually something you can incorporate into the tapping. You can, for example, say, even though my metabolism is slow and only works at, and then you add the percentage you feel that is. And so I would say, yeah, my metabolism says just working at 40 or 50%. And then you add whatever you feel that your metabolism is working at. So I love and accept myself anyway. So even though my metabolism is very slow and it only works at about 40 or 50%, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though my metabolism is very slow and only works at 40%, I love and accept myself anyway. So my slow metabolism, it only works at 40%. This slow metabolism, this 40% metabolism, but I'm prepared to let go of all the things that are causing this slow metabolism. So I'm releasing all these issues around my metabolism being so slow. Letting go of all the issues that have contributed to my slow metabolism. My slow metabolism. My 40% metabolism. Letting go of all the issues that have been slowing my metabolism down. My slow metabolism, my 40% metabolism. Letting go of all these issues which led to my slow metabolism. Okay, so just take a deep breath in. And yeah, for me, the slow metabolism is particularly relevant because for many decades now I've been battling quite a mysterious illness that doctors don't know what it's really about. But one thing I do know is that whole my body has become very sluggish, you know, the liver and the intestines and everything else, very sluggish, and it makes me very tired. And yeah, it's so I know that there are issues I need to work on to increase my health, increase my metabolism, and some of the issues, you know, I'm working is on the emotional issues, and you know, these issues are going back generations, back before even the time I was born. And so at the beginning of this video I mentioned that, you know, the reasons most diets will not bring you any success is because they are not addressing the emotional issues behind it. Why do we need to overeat? Why do we have all these how you say it, you know, I forgot the right word. If you want something to eat, you know, cravings, food cravings, that is the right word, which just didn't come to my mind. Why can't we discipline ourselves to eat kind of, you know, healthy lifestyle? And you know, you have to think all the messages we've been kind of growing up with. And you know, a lot of, you know, you will often hear, oh, you know, think of all the starving people in Africa. Or when I was young and I was growing up, and for the holidays it was quite customary for children to go and spend time with their grandparents. And I do remember, I mean, we used to have a weekend house and my grandmother would be looking after me while I was there, and then I would play with the local children. And, you know, I often remember that these grandmothers would be having chats between each other, overlooking the grandchildren. And often they would say about, you know, seeing one of the other grandchildren saying, oh, they have mended themselves, or, you know, meaning like those grandchildren were a bit thinner, now they've put on weight. And so, you know, there's always this idea that, you know, like if you're thin, or not, sorry, not always, but particularly in that instance, the idea is that if you are thin, there is kind of something wrong with you, that, you know, that needs to be fixed or mended. And, you know, even I look back at my 20s, and I was very thin then. I was very unwell for a long time, and, you know, like I kind of look at myself and I see myself being thin, and I do associate it with being unwell. So actually I kind of feel, well, if I eat well and everything else, that's actually a sign of me being healthy. And of course that's not always the case, but that's how we kind of start to have all these association, and there is a lot more which kind of goes deeper inside us. And you know, very often food is a substitute for love, the love which we are not getting anywhere else. And also people who had no control in their lives, they are finding that actually there is something they can control, and that something that they, you know, are able to control is their food. And that's actually when a lot of the food addictions start. And, you know, I've just read recently, you know, I was always wondering, well, how do all these people, you know, who suffer from anorexia, how do they manage to starve themselves? You know, how do they do it? I couldn't go without the food for more than half a day, to be honest. But, you know, I also found out that there is some kind of, you know, when you don't eat, that you, something similar to when you use heroin, this kind of fix, kind of this addiction is part of it. And, you know, I'm still trying to kind of come to terms with learning about this more, but there's certainly something like that. And so, yeah, there are, and as I said, a lot of us, you know, the people who kind of have anorexia, they look at themselves in the mirror. And like me, when I was looking at myself at these cars, which were making these a bit larger windows, you know, were a bit, you know, making me bigger, and we kind of distorting the reality. And you know, I will just finish this video and the tapping here about learning to be kinder to ourselves, and, you know, like loving ourselves and accepting who we are. And, you know, sometimes helping people with the EFT, and I help them to love themselves. I actually find that a lot of people will find it very hard to say I love you. And so I will just finish this video I'm doing today with you putting your hands on your heart center, or you can do it like that, whichever feels right, whichever way you want to do, and just say I love me, and I look after me, and I will have compassion for me. And one video previously I made was about perfectionism, and it's about not being hard on ourselves, and, you know, accepting ourselves the way we are. And if I wanted to be perfect and have everything perfect, I would never set off on this path of making these videos, which is something I enjoy, and not everything is perfect about it, but it helps me to achieve my aim, to share my journey with people and to help people on their own journeys. And so just you know, just be kind to yourself, and just say I love me, and do a round of tapping, just giving yourself the love, the compassion, love. loving kindness. Say, I love myself with all my faults. Because as I said, a big part of the hurdles we encounter across our journey is that we don't like all these parts of ourselves. So say, I love myself, I accept myself, I accept all the parts which I don't like so much, you know, all the fat bits, all the out of shape bits. I love those bits as well. So I accept every part of myself, every part of my body. I love the lovable bits, and I love the bits that are not so lovable. Thank you for watching, and see you during my next video. Bye for now.